Alright, in this video we're going to talk a little bit about graphing, and there's a lot of background knowledge we need to know about graphing. So, this is a graph, and it's sometimes called the coordinate plane and sometimes called the Cartesian plane. That comes from Descartes, who's a philosopher who's the guy who said, I think, therefore I am, and he's also the guy who came up with this form of graphing. Alright, so there's two axes. There's an x-axis and there's a y-axis, and they're always this way. However, sometimes it's a y and a z, or it's a w and it's a k. It doesn't really matter. But the convention is, this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. If we have an ordered pair, it always goes in the order x comma y. So if this happens to be like m and then n, then you're going to graph it in m and then comma n. But we're not going to do that in general, not at least yet. And it doesn't really matter too much. Now these are the positive x-axis, this is the positive y-axis, this would be the negative x-axis, this would be the negative y-axis. So positive to the right and up, negative to the left and down. Now there's also quadrants. This is the first quadrant using Roman numerals. This is the second quadrant, the third, and the fourth. And if you're wondering what the fifth one is, I'm sorry, it's not here. Alright, if you want to graph a point, you got to follow the order. It goes x first and then y second. So let's say we want to plot the point 1, 2. So you go 1 in the x direction and then 2 in the y direction, and then there's my point. Some people plot it this way, like 1 on the x, 2 on the y, and then they kind of figure out where that point is, but this is our point. 1, 2, and that's in the first quadrant. So let's try to plot some more points. Alright, so A would be 2, 5, so you go 2 in the x direction, 5 in the y, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our point, and a lot of times if we have letters, we'll label it as the letter. Alright, where is negative 3, 1? So we go left 3 on the x-axis, so x goes this way. So left 1, 2, 3, and then up 1. So there's my B. And then C would be 0, negative 4. So it goes down, left and right, nothing. Down 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's C. So this would be considered the first quadrant. This would be considered the second quadrant. This is our third. And this would be our fourth. So which quadrant is C in? C is not in any quadrant. C is on the y-axis. But one thing that we forgot to mention before, this is also, this point in the middle is called the origin, which is 0, 0, which I think looks like an owl. If you look at it, you can put little ears on the owl if you want. Anyway, that's our origin. Forgot to mention that above. Alright, plot a couple more. So D would be negative 2, so left 2, down 4. So right there. E would be 6, so right 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up and down 0. And then F would be 5, negative 6, so right 5, down 6. So let's plot the points. Make sure you go on the x first and the y second. You can do them in any order. You can go up 5 and then right 2, but I would try going left and right. The reason people mix this stuff up is later on you're going to do slope, which is rise over run, and your slope is up and down, and your run is left and right. So I know I'm saying I'm going left and right and then up and down. So it's right 2 up 5. When you do slope, you're going to go up 5. Maybe it's 5 over 2. That means you're going to go up 5 over 2. So be careful you don't get those mixed up. Alright, so we got some points, and we want to label the quadrant. So actually, it looks like our points are, little labels are missing. So let's label this as A, and this is B, and this is C. So which quadrant? Point A. If we want to actually make the point, it's left 1, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the ordered pair would be negative 1, comma 6. So left 1, up 6. Now which quadrant? It's in the second quadrant. And please try to do the Roman numerals, not just 2. I don't know if I'll mark that wrong, but it is in the second quadrant. Now B is the order pair 3, 0. It's right 3 up and down, nothing. But the quadrant, it's not really a quadrant, it's on the x-axis. So saying this question, it's not even a real question. Where is it? It's on the x-axis, it's not in the quadrant. So where's C? Try first, and then You should pause it, write down C, and then double check it. So my answer is write 2 down, 1, 2, 3. So 2, -3, and in quadrant 4. Alright, so slope. I mentioned it earlier as rise over run. So it's easiest if you get a picture. So for here, A, if we go from this point to this point, it doesn't matter which order we go in, you usually want to go from left to right. It goes up 1, so it's rising 1, and it's running 1, 2, 3, 4. So this slope would be 1 over 4. Okay, well that's cool. How will we do it for these? Now, option 1 is to draw a graph, plot your points, and then do what I just did there, right? But yeah, we don't really want to do that because it'll take us a while to do. So we have a rule. We have a formula for this. Let's try to figure out what the formula is. So the rise. So up and down. Is that x's or y's? I'm hoping you guys are saying the y's in your head. So the rise is your change in y. It's y minus y. And your run. So it's like, think about this. This is y, 1, 2, 3. So this is 3 on the y, and this is 4 on the y. -3 and -4, right? So this is 1. That's why it's 1. And this is 1, 2, it's 4 across. This is 0, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left. So the difference is 4. And your run would be x minus x. Now, if you remember, there's sometimes just little 2's and 1's, 2's and 1's, and that's fine. It really just means, and which point is the first point, which point's the second point? I don't know. It just means that you stick with the same point. So if this is point 1 and this is point 2, if I'm going to subtract the y minus the y, I have to subtract this x minus this x. But it really doesn't matter what order we go in. So I'll show you. So this is x1 and y1. This is x2 and this is y2. But again, the 1's and 2's can be reversed. So my formula is my rise, my change in y's, my y2 minus my y1, or my x2 minus the x1. Okay, you gotta be careful about this minus and negative. 2 negatives make it plus. So -2 plus 1 is -1 over 6 minus 9 would be -3. 2 negatives make it positive, so 1/3. Alright, let's see what happens if I switched up the order. So y1 minus y2, so -1 minus -2 over 9 minus 6. Or it doesn't matter, as long as you stay in it. As long as this point's here, and then this point's there. If you're subtracting from left to right, keep it that way. So 1 minus -2 is 1 plus 2. Sorry, -1 plus 2. Here, I'll go a little faster. 2 pluses. So -1 plus 2, or 2 minus 1 is 1. 9 minus 6 is 3. Same exact deal. Let's try the next one. 7 minus 1 is 6. Here, I'll do it slower than that. 7 minus 1, -5 minus -2. 2 negatives make a plus. So 6 over -5 plus 2. You owe 5, you get 2 back. That means you still owe 3. Now, do I leave it this way? No. If you can reduce it, you should reduce it. So -6 divided by -3 is -2. Only one negative there. Alright, horizontal lines and vertical lines. So, horizontal line, this is your vertical line. Now, I always had teachers that said, line on the horizon. Now, what do you mean by that? So think this is your horizon. There's a sun setting in your horizon, right? In Illinois, horizon's flat. This is the line of a horizon. I don't know why that caused me trouble. It just never made any sense to me. But horizontal lines, horizon, our horizon is left to right, not vertical. If you're in the mountains, maybe you have some vertical horizons, but not here. So this is horizontal line, this is vertical line. Think about a basketball player jumps vertically, right? Talking about your vertical. If you got a big vertical, that's awesome. Now, what's our slope of the horizontal line and the slope of the vertical line? Now, it's real easy if I just pick some points to figure out what this is. So what's my rise? My rise is 0, and my run, in this case, is 3. So 0 over 3 is just 0. Now, quick note that I didn't even bring up earlier. A lot of times people denote the slope as m. So if I ever asked you for m, my slope is 0 for horizontal line. So m is the variable we associate with slope. Not s, just m. Alright, let's see my vertical line. Let's go from this point here to this point here. My rise is 1, 2, 3, and my run, I'm running 0. So can I take up 3 and split it 0 ways? No. So that is undefined. Now, nice thing about this is you see the vertical line going right through it. This is not 0. If you write your zeros like this, stop, because 0 and undefined mean completely different things, especially in slope form. So, vertical line has a undefined slope and has the vertical line going right through the 0. Let's finish up these last couple ones here. So, if we get this points, it kind of seems weird that it comes after the vertical lines and horizontal lines. So let's see here. Just going to run it through. So y minus y, so 4 minus negative 5 over 3 minus 3. So the two negatives make a plus. We get 9 over 0. So is that 0 or is it undefined? Can't divide by 0, so this is undefined. No solution. So that means my line is a vertical line. Here's another way of remembering that this is no solution. You have a number over 0, that means no, does not work. If you have 0 divided by a number, then it's on. I gotta give Mr. Blitz credit for that one. So it's on, that equals 0. Works. Alright, in this one, we have a horizontal line. I think it's here because this is the x-axis. So horizontal line always has a slope of 0. I don't have to do any work as long as I realize horizontal is slope of 0. Vertical has a slope of undefined.